Have you ever been in a meeting with a perfect idea in your head, but when it's your turn to speak, you freeze? The words just won't come out sounding as smart or as confident as you know you are.
Oh, absolutely, Chloe. It's that gap between what you want to say and what you actually say. And it's a huge frustration for so many professionals learning business English.
Exactly. Well, welcome to Boost Your Business English, the podcast for professionals who want to communicate with power and confidence. I'm Chloe.
And I am Alex. Today, we're tackling this head on. We're going to expose the 5 key habits that are absolutely killing your chances of sounding confident. These are the subtle mistakes that undermine your authority without you even realizing it.
We'll break them down and give you practical, powerful alternatives. And you'll definitely want to listen right to the end, as our founder, Mark, will be stopping by to share a single piece of advice that is an absolute game changer.
It really is. You don't want to miss that. Okay, let's dive in. What's the first confidence killer on our list, Chloe?
All right, number 1, over-apologizing. This is a big one. It's starting your sentences with phrases like, sorry for my bad English, or sorry, this may be a silly question.
Right, or even, sorry to bother you. You're basically apologizing for your existence before you even said anything of substance.
It immediately puts you in a one-down position. You're drawing attention to a perceived weakness. Think about it. If someone starts by saying, my English is bad, what does the listener immediately focus on?
They start listening for mistakes instead of listening to your idea. Exactly. So what's the confident alternative?
Just drop the apology. You don't need it. Your English is good enough to be in that meeting, so own it. If you stumble over a word, you can say, thank you for your patience, which is a power move. But most of the time, just say what you want to say.
I love that. Thank you for your patience. It's confident and respectful. Okay, that leads perfectly into confidence killer number 2, excessive filler words.
Yes. The classic ahs, you knows, and likes.
Now, let's be clear. Everyone uses filler words, even native speakers. They're a natural part of speech. The problem is when they become a crutch. When every sentence is littered with them, it signals uncertainty. It sounds like you're searching for your next thought and aren't sure of what you're saying.
It can make your message sound messy and unfocused. So what's the fix here, Alex?
Embrace the pause. When you feel an coming on, just stop. Take a breath. A moment of silence is far more powerful and sounds more deliberate than a filler word. It gives your listener time to process what you've said and gives you a moment to gather your next thought. Slowing down is key.
That is such a great point. Silence can feel uncomfortable, but it projects so much confidence. Okay, I think this is a perfect time for our first role play. Let's put these two things together, over-apologizing and filler words.
Let's do it. The scene is a project meeting. I'll be leading the discussion. Chloe, you have a concern you need to raise. First, let's hear the confidence-killing way. And so, with that in mind, the launch date is locked in for September 1st. Any questions?
Sorry to interrupt. I just have a small question. I think maybe the timeline is a little, tight. I'm not sure we can make it. Sorry.
Ooh, you can feel the confidence draining away with every word. So many apologies and fillers. Okay, Chloe, same situation. Let's hear the confident version. Take 2. And so, with that in mind, the launch date is locked in for September 1st. Any questions?
I have a concern regarding the September 1st deadline. Based on the current resource allocation, my projection shows we're likely to miss it. Could we reevaluate the timeline?
Wow, night and day. The second version is direct, data-driven, and forward-looking. It's not aggressive, it's assertive.
Right? No apologies, no fillers, just a clear statement and a constructive suggestion. This brings us to confidence killer number 3, hedging language.
Ah, hedging. This is the cousin of over-apologizing. This is when you use phrases that weaken your statements. Things like, this might be a silly idea, but, or, I'm not an expert in this, but.
Exactly. You're putting a disclaimer on your own idea before you even share it. It's like telling people you probably shouldn't take this seriously. Why would you do that to your own contribution?
It's a defensive move, but it backfires. Instead of saying, I'm not an expert, try framing it confidently. Say, from my perspective, or my analysis suggests, or even just a simple, I think we should consider.
Yes, own your opinion. Your perspective is valuable. That's why you're in the room. These tips can make a huge difference. And if you're finding this helpful, make sure you hit follow or subscribe on your podcast app so you never miss an episode of Boost Your Business English.
Great reminder. Okay, on to number 4, and this is a subtle one that many people don't even know they're doing. It's called up-talking.
Up-talking? Can you explain that?
It's when you end a statement with a rising intonation, making it sound like a question, like I just did there.
Ah, I see. So instead of saying the deadline is Friday, you say the deadline is Friday? It makes you sound like you're seeking approval or that you're unsure of the fact.
Precisely. It robs your statements of their power. The fix for this one is awareness. Record yourself speaking. Listen for that upward inflection at the end of your sentences. When you make a statement, practice ending with a firm downward intonation. Period. Not a question mark.
Such a good tip. Let's do another role play to show this in action, combined with that hedging language. This time, Alex, you're pitching a new idea to me, your manager. First, the unconfident way. Okay, Alex, you wanted to run an idea by me?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if this is any good, but I was kind of thinking we could maybe try a new social media campaign. We could focus more on video content. It might increase engagement.
Okay, I heard 3 questions there, but I think they were supposed to be statements. The uptalk and hedging make it sound like you haven't thought it through. Now let's try that again with confidence. Okay, Alex, you wanted to run an idea by me?
Yes, I've analyzed our recent engagement metrics and I want to propose a new social media strategy. My recommendation is to pivot to short form video content. I project this will increase our engagement by at least 20% in the next quarter.
Now that is a pitch I want to hear more about. It's confident, it's backed by data, and it's assertive. Fantastic. This all leads us to our 5th and final confidence killer, which might be the most important one.
Right, this one is internal. It's the root cause of the other 4. It's negative self-talk. It's that voice inside your head that's saying, my accent is so thick. They probably think I'm stupid. I'm going to forget the right word.
That internal monologue. If you believe you sound unconfident, you will. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Your body language will follow, your tone will follow, and all those filler words and apologies will come pouring out.
So, how do you combat it? The solution is to shift your mindset from perfection to communication. Your goal is not to sound like a native speaker. Your goal is to be understood and to add value. Remember your expertise. You're in that room for your skills and knowledge, not for your perfect English pronunciation.
Focus on what you're contributing, not the language you're using to do it. And speaking of expertise, that promise we made at the start of the show, it's time to deliver.
That's right. We are thrilled to have a very special guest with us today. He's the reason this podcast exists, a true expert in business communication and our founder. Mark, welcome to the show.
Chloe, Alex,
It's so great to have
pleasure
you on,
be
Mark. We've just been through 5 common things that kill a person's confidence when speaking business English. From your vast experience, if you could give our listeners just one piece of advice, one core idea to focus on that could change everything, what would it be?
Thank you, Chloe. It's a fantastic topic. And my advice is this: shift your focus from accuracy to impact. So many non native speakers are completely obsessed with grammatical accuracy. They're terrified of making a small mistake with a preposition or using the wrong tense. This fear is paralyzing. But here is the secret: your colleagues and clients don't really care about perfect grammar, they care about your message.
That's so true. Impact over accuracy.
Exactly. Before you speak, don't ask yourself, how can I say this perfectly? Instead, ask, what is the one thing I want this person to know, feel, or do after I've finished speaking? Is your goal to inform them of a risk, to persuade them to approve your budget, to motivate your team? Focus all your energy on achieving that impact. When you focus on the goal, the language becomes a tool, not an obstacle. And that, in itself, is the most confident position you can take.
Mark, that is brilliant. Simple, powerful, and absolutely a game changer. Thank you so much for sharing that with us and our listeners.
Truly fantastic advice. Thanks for stopping by, Mark.
My pleasure. Keep up the great work.
Wow, so much to think about there. Let's do a quick recap. The 5 confidence killers are 1. Over-apologizing.
2. Using too many filler words. 3. Hedging your language.
4. Up-talking and making statements sound like questions. And 5. That negative self-talk.
And the golden rule from Mark to tie it all together: focus on your impact, not on being perfectly accurate. That's your ultimate goal.
That's all the time we have for today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe or follow wherever you get your podcasts. And feel free to check out our back catalog for more episodes on mastering your business English.
Thanks for listening to Boost Your Business English. I'm Alex.
And I'm Chloe. Keep boosting.